Hey everyone! Remember me? If you don't, I don't blame you. It's been a while. It's been a whole year since I last uploaded anything. Let's let that sink in for a minute. 1 entire year. Wow. For those of you who are regulars, you know that I have taken breaks away from YouTube before. It's just, this so far is the longest that I have ever taken. You all would probably like an explanation for why I took such a long absence that I did. And I do have it. However, this video is not it. My next one, after this one that you're watching right now, will explain everything. Truly, it will. I promise. Scout's honor. Now that we got that out of the way, let's now turn back the clock and look back on the year that was 2019 with all of its highs, lows, and everything else in between. January began with an egg, of all things, becoming the most liked picture on Instagram. The egg dethroned Kylie Jenner's then 18.4 million like photo of her newborn daughter. The egg was later revealed to be a campaign for mental health awareness. Trump and the White House really pulled out all the stops for the Clemson University football team when they visited with their fast food buffet. The following TV shows all had big anniversaries, including my all-time favorite Cartoon Network series. Rounding out January was the government shutdown that began in December of 2018, ending after 35 days. To date, this is the longest ever government shutdown. In February, we learned about the detention centers that were popping up all around the border entries into the US. And we saw the deplorable conditions that children were having to live in after being separated from their parents who were deported back to their own countries. Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the House, went viral after she was sarcastically applauding Trump after his State of the Union address. And the last thing that happened in February were the Oscars. Last year, Green Book took home Best Picture, Rami Malek took home Best Actor for Bohemian Rhapsody, and Olivia Colman took home Best Actress for The Favorite. And on top of all that, one of the most talked about moments from last year's Oscars was Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper's very intimate performance of Shallow, which won Best Song from the film they were both in, A Star is Born. Quite a lot happened in the month of March, including such things as the college admissions scandal, in which celebrity parents such as Felicity Huffman of Desperate Housewives and Lori Loughlin of Full House were accused of bribery and fraud in order to secure spots for their kids into college. As it was predicted by The Simpsons, Disney officially acquired 20th Century Fox. And the last thing that happened in March was the almost real-life Poseidon adventure for the Norwegian cruise ship Viking Sky. Trouble began for the ship when it experienced a loss of oil pressure which caused an automatic shutdown of the engines. Without the engines running and no other way to steer the ship, the poor thing was left to the mercy of the sea, where it was tossed around by large waves. Passengers, crew members, and including the furniture were tossed around just like in the famous capsizing scene. After a couple of failed attempts to rescue the passengers, the local Coast Guard sent out 30 helicopters to get 479 passengers off before that was called off due to the weather turning rough. The remaining passengers and crew that stayed on board were left to be tossed around throughout the night until the ship was finally able to get the engines running up again and had some assistance from a tugboat to help pull the ship into a nearby port for it to dock. These were the highlights for April. Game of Thrones returned for its disaster of a final season. It started off well, but after the big battle against the Night King, it all just went downhill and, well, if you watched it, you know what happened. Avengers Endgame was the conclusion to the first 10 years of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It also went on to become the highest grossing film of all time, dethroning Avatar's 10-year run with $2.79 billion. Paris, France dealt with one of the worst tragedies of the year when the roof of the Notre Dame Cathedral caught on fire and not only destroyed the spire, but did extensive damage inside the building as well. And rounding out April was NASA photographing a supermassive black hole with the Global Network Event Horizon Telescope. In May, we said goodbye to Sheldon, Leonard, Penny, and the rest of the gang from The Big Bang Theory as the series ended its 12-year run. For 40 years, director Ridley Scott and production designer H.R. Geiger have terrorized us with the iconic creature known as the Xenomorph. The first trailer for the Sonic the Hedgehog movie came out and was immediately hated upon over the really creepy design they gave Sonic, that Paramount then went back and redesigned the entire character from scratch. And lastly, in May, Prince Harry and Meghan welcomed the birth of their first child, Archie. Here's what happened in June. The big thing that happened in June was the Storm Area 51 Facebook event, where 2 million people said that they would help break into the famous location. However, on September 20th, only 150 of those 2 million people showed up. And that's all I have for June. The only other thing that happened in June was my birthday. But I honestly do not remember if I did anything or not. June was just that uneventful. In July, billionaire Jeffrey Epstein was arrested and charged for sex trafficking. A month later, after being arrested, he was found dead in his cell. If we all thought that the Sonic the Hedgehog trailer was creepy, Kat said, "Hold my beer," as that just even creepier trailer came out. I honestly have no idea how Andrew Lloyd Webber and Universal Studios approved of it. It was a complete train wreck. Another trailer came out in November, and it wasn't any better. Cats should have never been made into an actual feature film. And rounding out July was Team USA winning the Women's FIFA World Cup. August began with not one, but two mass shootings. The first in El Paso, Texas, at a Walmart, and just 13 hours later in Dayton, Ohio, at a bar called Ned Pepper's. A total of 31 lives were lost. The Amazon rainforest saw one of its worst wildfire seasons to date, with over 80,000 wildfires. Remember the mania that surrounded Popeye's chicken sandwich? The sandwich that everybody wanted and that they were willing to kill someone over it? Yes, you heard me right. People were willing to kill each other over this sandwich. And lastly, in August, my all-time favorite film, The Wizard of Oz, celebrated its 80th anniversary. September was a month filled with drama, beginning with Hurricane Dorian, a Category 5 hurricane that slammed into the Bahamas. With winds at 185 miles per hour, the island of the Grand Bahamas was practically leveled and left at least 70 people dead. The drama continued when a dive boat caught on fire at night off the coast of Santa Cruz, California. Of the 39 on board, all 33 passengers and one crew member unfortunately died in the blaze. September wasn't all drama heavy though, as these 4 TV shows all celebrated major milestones. California just cannot seem to catch a break, as that is the month they always seem to deal with wildfires. This year it was Sonoma County and the Kincaid Fire, which burned 77,000 acres of land. Washington, D.C. saw 2 double first ever wins in sports. The first for the women's basketball team, the Washington Mystics, by winning the WNBA championship. And then in baseball, with the Washington Nationals winning the World Series. The following 3 TV shows celebrated their anniversaries. And October isn't complete without Halloween. this year, Halloween just was a little bit more extra special, especially for us emo kids, as the announcement of the decade was made with the return of My Chemical Romance. That's right, MCR is back. These are some of the highlights from November. You might have heard people saying before that Venice, Italy is slowly sinking. And this past November, that came very close to actually happening when massive rains brought on record-breaking flooding throughout the city. The British royal family is no stranger to scandals and controversy. However, this time, instead of it being about Harry, Prince Andrew was in the spotlight. Andrew's fall from grace stemmed from an interview that didn't go over well when he tried to explain his friendship with billionaire Jeffrey Epstein. This led to Andrew being stripped of his royal duties. The following shows celebrated their anniversaries. And lastly, in November was the launch of Disney's new streaming service, Disney Plus, in which the internet quickly went gaga over Baby Yoda from their new Star Wars series, The Mandalorian. I honestly do not see the appeal over this creature, but I guess Baby Yoda is now going to be the new Cabbage Patch doll and Furby, since everybody wants one. Here's what happened in December. Trump became the third president to ever be impeached in office after the House of Representatives voted that he obstructed Congress and that he misused his powers as well. The Skywalker saga that began 42 years ago ended with the last official Star Wars film, The Rise of Skywalker. Everyone's favorite yellow family, The Simpsons, celebrated 30 years. Can you believe it? The Simpsons have been around for 30 years. And last but not least, December isn't complete without Christmas. Ladies and gentlemen, was 2019. What did you all think of 2019? Did you think that it was an improvement over 18 and 17? Tell me in the comments below. Well, before I go, I just want again to apologize for being away for an entire year, and that I promise that my next video will fully explain my absence away from YouTube. Until next time, I just want to say that I hope that you all are doing well and that you are staying safe by staying indoors. Till next time, thanks for watching and sticking around. Bye.